Chapter 5, Momentous Events in the Life of a Cactus, pages 39 through 47. One day you'll find you can be old in your body, but not in your mind. We are librarians. Punk band established 2009, New York, New York. The next day after school, I rode the bus to the Golden Sunset Retirement Community. I checked in at the front desk where the nice receptionist always dropped the clipboard on the floor for me so I could sign my name. Then I made my way to the leisure room, where people could engage in all kinds of leisurely activities, mostly staring at windows, walls, TVs, and floors while drinking tea out of paper cups and eating crackers. I found Josephine sitting in a blue plaid recliner with her feet up, reading a novel featuring a bare-chested man with golden locks that flowed in the wind like a fan was blowing on them. I slipped my foot out of my flip-flop, tilted the book so I could read the cover. Fireman on fire? I asked Josephine, raising an eyebrow at her. She shrugged. It passes the time. He can't be an effective fireman if he doesn't have a shirt, or if he's on fire. Plus, that hair is a hazard. He has a shirt, Josephine said, but you're probably right about the hair. I sat down on the couch next to her recliner. Josephine lowered her feet and set her embarrassing book on the side table where I noticed a random set of teeth were also lying. Ew, I said. Someone lost their teeth again. Josephine stood up and called out, "Whose teeth are these?" A hunched woman in a long maroon dress hobbled over and grabbed the teeth. She stuck them in her mouth and walked off without saying a word. Josephine sat back down as though nothing had happened. "So, how have your first couple of days of high school been?" "Pretty good. Okay. All right," I shrugged. "Not too bad." Josephine raised an eyebrow at me. "It's like starting all over again. There are about 1 billion kids who are seeing me for the first time. You'll handle it." "Yes, I'll handle it. No problem," I nodded furiously. "I totally got this." "How's Connor doing at his new school?" "He didn't start until today. I'll talk to him later when I get home." I felt someone staring at us and glanced over at a wrinkled man with a bald-topped head and glasses. He wore a short-sleeved, button-down shirt hanging out of his saggy pants. And then there were the Bert and Ernie slippers. One Bert, one Ernie. "Josephine," I whispered, "that man is staring at me." Josephine glared at him, and he quickly turned his attention back to the game of chess he was playing with a man who may or may not have been asleep. "He wasn't staring at you, honey. He was staring at me." I looked at him and found him already watching Josephine again. "Why is he staring at you?" Josephine jerked her head in his direction, and he quickly went back to his chess game again. "Stalker," she yelled at him. My mouth dropped open. "Josephine, you can't just yell stalker in the middle of a respectable retirement center." I glanced at her book lying on the table next to her. "Or maybe not so respectable." "I can yell whatever I want," she snapped. "Interloper," she cried. I watched the poor guy's cheeks turn bright red as he stared at his slipper. "What has he done to you?" I asked her. "And what the heck is an interloper?" She took a deep breath. "Wherever I am, I find him sitting not far away, staring at me like that with those beady eyes, stalker eyes," she cried out again. "Plus, he eats the chess pieces." I gawked at him. "What?" I watched as he literally picked up a piece from the chessboard and put it in his mouth. "What?" I got up and walked to him. I scanned the chessboard while he sat there chewing. Then I made my way back to Josephine and fell down on the couch. "Well, maybe if you guys didn't use fish crackers and fruit snacks for chess pieces, you wouldn't eat them. And what is this, preschool? Can't you get better snacks?" "What are we supposed to do?" Josephine cried. "They don't replace the lost game pieces in this dump." I shushed her. "This place is definitely not a dump. A nicer place would have all the proper gaming supplies. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He shouldn't be eating the chess pieces." She glared at him and raised her voice. "And he shouldn't be watching me with that predatory gleam in his eyes." "Don't you think you're being a little harsh? Maybe he wants to be your friend." Josephine scoffed. "Men like that are only after one thing." "Men like who wear funny slippers?" "He could attack me at any moment. I'm pretty sure I could knock him over with one toe. Man's a stalker." "Well, you'd know a little something about the stalking, wouldn't you?" She pushed the footrest down on the recliner with a dramatic clang and sat up. "And just what exactly do you mean by that?" "Gee, I wonder." I watched the man as he pushed himself up from his seat at the chessboard and walked over to us at a sloth's pace, shuffling his feet. "He's coming over here," I whispered. Bert and Ernie inched closer and closer. Josephine refused to make eye contact with him as he stood in front of us, shaking. "Good afternoon, Josephine," he said. She grunted. "Hi, I'm Even," I told the man. He smiled at me. "I'm Milford." Josephine grunted again, arms crossed, suddenly interested in the flowery wallpaper. Have you lived here long? I asked him. No, I moved in last week. The poor guy seemed like he was about to fall over from trying to hold himself up, so I said, well, it was nice to meet you. He looked at Josephine. I'll see you at dinner, Josephine. Josephine rolled her eyes at the wallpaper and puffed up her cheeks as she blew out a breath. I'm sure you will, Milford. I hear we're having steak Diane tonight, he said. Josephine cut her eyes to him. And just what is that supposed to mean? I cleared my throat. I'm sure it'll be quite delicious, I said. I watched Milford scuffle away. Then I turned to Josephine, who was glaring at Milford's back. You don't have to be so mean to him. I am not about to let that man hornswoggle me. Okay. I totally don't know what that means, but it sounds inappropriate. I don't want him staring at me like that. Joshua popped into my mind. You know, a boy at school has been looking at me like that the last couple of days. Her face brightened. Really? Aren't you appalled? I said to her. I mean, aren't you going to get angry? About what? Because a boy likes you? Do you like him? Oh, so when Milford does it, he's an interloper trying to hornswoggle you, but when a boy does it to me, it's all exciting? Yep, exactly. Is he cute? I tilted my head at her. Yes, but Zion doesn't like him. He says he's a jerk. Oh, Zion's probably jealous. I don't think so. Zion and me aren't like that. He doesn't like me like that. All kinds of boys are going to like you. I seriously doubt it. Why? Why shouldn't boys like you? They liked your mother too, and you're just like her. Except she had arms. Oh, is that what this is about? Well, a boy who can't see nothing but that ain't the right boy for you. I tilted my head. Gee, you're so old and wise. Josephine rolled her eyes. Do you think she and my birth father liked each other? I doubt they hated each other. I crossed my legs and smacked my purple flip-flop against my heel. Did you ever find like any red squeaky noses or squirting flowers or abnormally large shoes in her room around the time she got pregnant with me? Josephine stared at me like I was wearing a red squeaky nose. What? Never mind. Josephine squinted at me. So when's the next lesson? Tomorrow after school. You do the jump yet? No, but I have a feeling it's happening tomorrow. I continued flapping my flip-flop against my heel. Yep, definitely tomorrow. Josephine picked her book up. Back up. We'll see. I waited until she got to her place before I hit the book from the bottom with my foot, causing it to pop out of her hands and onto the floor. What do you mean? We'll see. She shrugged. Everyone will understand if you're too chicken. I slammed my foot back down on the floor and pushed my shoulders back. I am so not chicken. Josephine grinned like her silly little name-calling tactic might work on me. Darn it, it had worked. Now I was definitely doing that jump tomorrow. Just then, a lady with a poofy blonde wig and a disheveled polka dot blouse walked up to us. Have you seen my teeth? She asked. I think I left them on the side table here. My mouth dropped open, but Josephine pointed at the woman in the maroon dress who was now sitting in a chair watching the television, which wasn't on. I think Betty over there has them.